All right, people. So let's kick this off, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start playing the footage, and we're gonna talk about it.
Men, because men benefit from a woman's dependence because they get better access to her, right? And a lot of the activities, a lot of what men do is driven by their seeking of better access to females and female sexuality. But anyway, in accessing sex. But I'll show you this. And we were just talking about these articles that kind of demonstrate how women are like consciously choosing to be alone. And I referenced the whole, Kevin Samuels issue where he told this young woman that she would die alone, even though that's usually not what happens to women. They usually don't die alone because Kevin Samuels told her she was going to die alone because her standards were too high. When in fact, that usually is not the case. But it's just my argument is that it's a scare tactic. It's a scare tactic for men to, scare women so that they have better access to them, so that women are settling for men that can't provide and don't deserve them. Get what I'm saying?
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Those are the segment of deals. I don't be doing that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't gotta scare you and for you being one. It's usually that you see when I am, and it's pretty much good enough. I don't know, that's weird talking point stuff. But Apple Girl, I text you, get on the panel, Apple Girl.
Who?
Apple Girl, get on the panel.
Yeah, Apple Girl, come up. What's up? I mean, and it's always like this, anytime it's like you have a group of women that are like, you know what, we can kind of do without men if they're not providing and protecting. And then you have all of these men that want to jump on and argue that say, well, no, women can't be alone, when there's so much evidence and research that show that women are choosing to be single because they don't find value in men unless they are providing.
Okay, what I find interesting about when you said that is you said women say that they kind of feel that they can do things on their own. Why do you say kind of?
When did I say kind of?
You said, well, there's women that say, well, we can kind of do things on our own. We don't need. But why do you say kind of?
Oh, because outside of the context of patriarchy, it's very hard, especially in situations. Well, we're lucky as Americans, but, like I said before, I spent 6 years in the Middle East where it's still illegal for some women to own property on their own, to open up a simple bank account.
She's talking about globally.
Why do you say we're lucky in America? Why are we lucky in America?
Because women can choose. Because women can choose to detach themselves from men. They can choose.
Why? Why are they able to choose to detach themselves from men in America and not in the Middle East?
They have more rights to be independent.
Why do they have more rights?
Because the Constitution says it.
No. But let's say
we have so many different rights.
Are you going like because men gave it to them? Is that the direction?
No. I'm asking her. I'm asking her a question. Why do women have more rights in America than the women in the Middle East have?
Well, let me.
Universe.
I think your question is irrelevant, and I will not. Hear me? Go ahead, Apple Girl.
So it's irrelevant
because it's off topic. I mean, there's no point in you asking that question. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, he just wants female attention. That's why he's on my live. Like,
okay, so at that point, she had no rebuttal or response to the line of questioning that I was giving her. Okay, I was questioning her. I was asking her. Okay, why is it that women in the West or in the United States have more rights than women in the Middle East? And she kept, she presented it herself first as like this fact, But then when I asked her to qualify the fact, she didn't want to respond to it. I kept asking her, and she kept on saying, not responding and not responding, and you know what I mean. She did not want to respond to that question. Now, this is what I mean when you have people in debates and in situations, okay, and they don't have, how should I say it? They are not intellectually qualified to have those conversations. And in this case, this is what was going on with Universe Trip. Okay, she was not ready for that line of question that I had for her. Okay, she had no response, no rebuttal. Okay, she didn't know where she wanted to go with the conversation. She didn't know what she wanted to do with the conversation. Okay, she thought she was gonna be able to sit there and put her, opinions and stuff out there, and that nobody was going to challenge it or anything like that, or she wouldn't have to go back and fact check or double check or anything like that. And so he just said, "Oh, well, your question is irrelevant," even though it was completely relevant to what we were talking about. She just didn't want to deal with it, so she just brushed it off and moved on. And this is what happens. Okay, this is what people do. Okay, let's continue a little bit with what the Apple girl was saying.
I don't know. You can't get it anywhere else. Go ahead, Apple girl.
No, but I think it's kind of pertaining to the topic, but I think women should leverage their sensuality to get what they want from men. And I think the days of women trying to quote unquote play nice, they need to be over, because I'm sure we all know men and women, it's like we play by different rules, right? And the way we're playing this game, it does not benefit us. So those days kind of need to come to an end.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that comes from, Apple girl, thank you, sorry. Are you running the YouTube video in the background? Because I can hear echo.
I turned it off.
Okay, thank you. So I think there's a huge difference in how women and men play the game. It's, because, women that have been conditioned to be obedient, right? Like there are systems in place that make women dependent on men in a lot of societies, and most societies today. And even in women are indoctrinated, whether that be with religion, whether that be with, within the family, they're please a man, do what a man wants, do what a man desires. Like the whole society is crafted around a man's desire, right? And a man's most basic desire is to have sexual access to women, right? So women are taught generation after generation to, okay, you have to keep your man, And in a lot of cases, it was really important to keep a man, because up until 1975, women were not allowed to have their own bank accounts. Women were not allowed to be financially free and independent on their own, right? So for her survival, she needed to be with a man. But now that things are changing, it's like women don't have to kind of play that game anymore. They don't have to be subservient and seeking to please men for their survival.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. Pretty much.
Yeah, it was definitely a survival tactic, and in many countries, it still very much is like a survival tactic. In many countries, like a woman can't just live on her own, right? Like, there are laws set up to prevent her from doing that, and if there are religions set up to prevent her from doing that, and if she does it, and even if they change the laws, like the society will punish that woman, will ostracize that woman for choosing to live on her own, because it all is designed in a way that will give men access to women, right? Like a lot of these patriarchal societies are designed in a way to benefit men, and men benefit when they have access to women, when they have sexual access to women, when they have access to a woman's labor, when they can expropriate and exploit a woman's labor, domestic labor. And in one of the articles, these older women were very explicit and very direct with them saying, well, we don't want to get married because, I'd rather die alone. I'm over 65 and I don't even want to live with a man. I don't want to get married because all they do is expect us to do all of this labor. And I don't want to do this labor. You have old women saying this. So men, like the main argument, like this is the running argument for my channel, is that men benefit from marriage way more than women in the vast majority of cases, especially if the man is not providing.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Like there's no point.
My icon's not lighting up. Oh,
okay.
But no, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, so Sophie says Maya genuinely just feels as if men create a patriarchal society so that women are set up to fail from the start, which is very disturbing. Well, here's the thing. This is a really interesting comment, and I'm gonna bring up an article that I like to talk about.
Oh, shit.
That I like to talk about because it really kind of displays like a male's primal motivations, right? So it's this article. I'll never stop sharing this article. It's oh crap, not this one, not this article, not that one. Where's the article? Oh, this one right here. Let me show you this article. Okay, this article right here. Male aggression against women, an evolutionary perspective. Okay. So to address Sophie's comment, like I really want to read kind of just like the first couple of sentences here. So it says here, male aggression against females and primates, including humans, often functions to control female sexuality. And then the other highlighted part says, the relationships between the male aggression against women and gender ideologies, male domination of women, and female sexuality are also considered. Okay. I always talk about this one right here, this quote that says, cross-cultural surveys indicate that societies in which men rarely attack or rape women are the exception, not the norm. So basically what they're saying across the world is the norm for men to rape and attack women. And here we have a question here. It says, why is male aggression against women so common? Why is this aggression so often linked to sex? And why is male aggression against women more frequent and intense in some societies than others? And it says here that in humans, as in many other animals, male aggression against females often reflects male reproductive striving. So men have this innate desire to control female sexuality as a method to increase their chances of reproduction. This drives everything. It drives everything, right? And so we wonder, like, going back to Sophie's comment, where she says here, she's like, it genuinely just feels as those men created a patriarchal society so that women are set up to fail from the start. I mean, it's because they want to control your sexuality, because female sexuality is key for everything, right? Like female sexuality, like women are the means of reproduction, right? Like women control reproduction. Like if you control a woman's body, if you control female reproduction, you control everything. So this is why men are constantly trying to control and monitor and shape and obtain female sexuality. Because if you control female sexuality, you control everything.
All right, let me ask you this: why are, because you said that male aggression?
I didn't say that. I'm reading an academic article that's from the University of Michigan in the Department of Evolutionary Biology. This is fact. This is
yeah. Well, I'm asking you, why are the females choosing those aggressive males to mate?
They don't get attacked. Hey, thank you. Listen, oh girl, like they're not choosing.
Overpowered.
We're not choosing. It literally said here that in most societies, men attacking and raping women is the norm. I literally read that. They're not choosing it. They're being attacked and raped.
Okay.
I've actually thought about it before.
Why are they choosing? But you're not answering my question. They're choosing these aggressive males.
They're not choosing them. They are being attacked and raped by men. They are not choosing them.
I think the title of the article was something about male aggression. It's actually like monitoring male aggression. It's not, women are not choosing them. They're like attacking, they're overpowering them. Like they're getting attacked. Yeah. So I kind of actually thought about this, before, that, if there weren't any laws in place, women would really be getting attacked left and right. And, I think a lot of women kind of thought about stuff like that before. So it doesn't surprise me. And, I don't think that's surprising to anyone, even men. So I don't know why.
Okay, you post that article because I need to see that.
So here at the top it says cross-cultural. Yeah, I'll definitely post this article because I post it almost every time I do one of these videos. Male aggression towards women. It's from the University of Michigan. It's just like, it's men aggressing. It's always the men pursuing the women to get access to women. Like you don't see women doing the same thing. You don't see women aggressively attacking and raping men. Like women do not value male sexuality the way men value female sexuality. And I posted the link here. But let me read Sophie's comment. Where is it? Sophie says that's so true, Maya. It's actually scary. The main reason that women can't be single in certain countries, from what I've observed, is actually due to men. They'll stalk and try to hurt these women. This is very common, right? Like we discuss this all the time here. But it's like you always have these men that try to come and argue. First of all, there are countless amounts of women, countless numbers of women who died for letting a man know that she's not interested. There are women that have been shot in the face. There are women that have been killed and raped and assaulted for being like, no, thank you. That is why a lot of women are afraid to say no when a man asks for her number, right? So this article shows that male aggression towards women is the norm. And the men always try to find some weird and contrived way to blame women. Oh, why are women choosing these aggressive men? When literally all the research shows that these men are attacking these women, pursuing these women, and raping these women, and coercing these women, and trying everything in their power to force these women to be with them.
Okay, so you said they're coercing.
Well, my solution is get a pistol. Like I said about the city of Harlem, if you had a pistol, this is where conservatism comes in. This is where my Republican side comes in. That's why you
hold on, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Who invented pistols?
Men did.
Exactly.
Because
exactly what? Like, what is that?
What's the threat of men? If men didn't exist, we wouldn't need pistols. If men didn't exist, we wouldn't need pistols because there would be no threat of violence and of attack.
You still got vindictive women, but it's
but they don't be attacking. The worst thing
hyenas.
But we're talking about among humans. Like a woman isn't gonna go attack anyone.
Other animals eat people.
Because that's my solution. Should I gonna argue with the women say that they feel protected? Here's your protected land. Get your hammer.
Just said the thing about what Sophie said, and you didn't even realize it, is that okay, she said, okay, that's so true, Maya. It's actually scary. The main reason that women can't be single in certain countries, from what I've observed, is actually due to men. They'll stalk and try and hurt these women. So she basically just said that these women have to be under a patriarchy to keep these outside men from stalking them and hurting them.
They'll do it in every single context. They'll do it in every single context. Now, you did ask about coercion, and in this article that I posted, it says right here, I have it, let me put it up. Male sexual coercion. In many monkeys and apes, during the period when the female is estrus, that is when she's fertile and sexually receptive, she receives significantly more aggression than males, blah, blah, blah. And let me go back to the human. Okay, gotcha. Male sexual coercion appears to be a prominent feature of societies of wild chimpanzees. I don't know. There's a lot of coercion. And in here, applying to all primates, including humans, it says male primates use use of force to increase sexual access to females can also involve infanticide. Yikes. Says infanticide may be considered a form of sexual coercion because it involves the use of force to manipulate the female sexual state and mating behavior. Yeah, I mean it's a lot. Like, I don't know. It's a lot, and we have here like a whole paragraph on female strategies to resist male aggression. I mean, it's a lot to think about. I mean, the whole point of me sharing this information is so women can understand to really understand the value of their bodies and their sexuality. Like, understand how much men and males value female sexuality, that they will attack you, they will harm you, they will rape you, they will create whole systems, like they create patriarchy just to have better access and better control over female bodies and female sexuality. So being with a man really is not the prize, it's not something special, it's not something beneficial outside of these systems of domination, of sexual domination over women. Like, if men are doing all of this just to have access to you as a woman, obviously you are the valuable aspect, because they're doing everything in their power to get access to you, and women are not doing the same to women.
The only thing I can say is, and I'm not being contrarian, and you know me, I'm always going to be a supporter, but if it's a whole patriarchal society, women going to have to have guns, because if men ain't around, they're going to have to stop it themselves. They're going to have to put their thinking cap on and figure out how to be able to eliminate the target.
Yeah.
This is a society where all dudes, well, to be honest, there's certain dudes that I've seen on these videos and everything that they're right there and they don't help the woman. So, yeah, really, I guess it's pretty much depending on their own if it's a society.
You're right. And there are several villages around the world. I can think of two specific ones, one in Kenya and one in Syria, where it's an all-female village, and they don't allow men in there, like warriors, right? Like, they train in fighting, they train in combat to prevent men from entering their villages, because that's how much of a threat men are, right?
The universe, I'll protect you. The universe, I'll protect you. When I'm down in there, I'll make sure you're all right. Everybody else, they don't have to defend themselves.
So it says, Alma says, especially that recent incident in New York.
If she would have had a Smith & Wesson, it would have been dealt with.
You're right. And I was thinking about getting a gun. So
even the small baby pistol, even the little baby pistol.
I'm definitely getting a gun. Like, so I recently, I have a contract ratified to buy a house now. And so I'll be buying my first home in Baltimore. So it's kind of like, I'm gonna need a gun, like, straight up.
Can it go in Hagerstown? 45 minutes away from Baltimore?
No, I mean, so the thing about Baltimore City is that it's like becoming gentrified very quickly. And this neighborhood is like kind of like an up and coming neighborhood. So I just wanted to I got in on a really good deal. The house that I'm buying was built in 1920, so it's over 100 years old, right? And it's like beautiful. It's like a beautiful Victorian house. It's huge. It's a 2-unit house. So it's like an investment property and a home at the same time. Okay. So I'll be renting out one half. Yeah, it's a 2-unit house. But anyway, like, I have a cousin, she's helping me. She's like a really successful realtor. But she carries a gun. Like, she carries a gun everywhere. And she's like, okay, if you're in the business of, like, you're, a real estate investor, which I'm like a little fledgling real estate investor, she's like, you're going to need a gun. And she goes out and she shoots and stuff. So I do agree with you.
That's what I have to do here in LA. Because I'm helping developers getting property. Shit, I'm living the heart of the hood, Inglewood, Compton, South Central LA. So it's pretty much either going to be the hood ass Mexicans or some of the gang banging ass niggas that still left over. So I got gentrified when the LA Rams came. Yeah, I definitely believe in the click-clack and business. Please.
Oh, Lord. I'm just, I'm staying my ass out. Ain't nobody doing. Anyway, so Goddess Energy says, Love your hair, UT. You look beautiful. Thank you. Sophie says, no, I didn't mean that. They're under these circumstances because of a patriarchal society. Men feel entitled over women. The same women who don't want anything to do with their broke dusty. So, I mean, they just do everything. Like, there's so much evidence that show that women are like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't really want to deal with men if I don't have to. If my survival doesn't depend on it, women are like, I'm good. I don't deal with men, right? Or if I'm not like, if my quality of life isn't being enhanced by a man, then I'm good. I don't deal with men. But it's not that way for men. Like, automatically, you know, there's so many health benefits for men having access to women, but it doesn't go the other way around unless there's a situation where her survival depends on it. God's Energy 55 says,
okay, so now you say you only need a man when your survival depends on it.
A lot of women, I said a lot of women will choose not to deal with men unless their survival depends on it. That's it. That's the only context. So a lot of women are
what situation is that?
when they are threatened by other men.
That's when dudes need to step in.
Okay, so you need to step in from other.
Right. So the bottom line is. So the bottom line is that men are the problem. You have whole villages that will not allow men inside the villages. Like, these women train in combat to prevent men from entering their villages.
Okay, let me ask something. Why aren't more women moving to those villages?
Because now women have other means of protection, right? Like, they can simply choose.
Oh, you mean like men?
No, like legal systems. Like, it's now illegal to rape a woman.
Okay, you mean the legal systems that were set up by men?
Yes, you keep saying set up by men, but that's a woman should kind of
let me say it like Applegirl. Let me say it in a way that he might understand. That's like saying a white person said, "These made you black slaves because, you know, these laws, we made them." No, that's a lie. You have black people who are fighting for their freedom, tooth and nail, all along the way. White people didn't give black people their freedom, just like men didn't give women their freedom.
Right, that's a natural born.
Like,
you have the right
men did not give women anything. Just like white people didn't give black people freedom, they fought for it.
Realize that a woman a single woman, the fact that a single woman is more likely to get attacked when she has no man, or that there's no man around, that's an indictment against men, not women. It's the fact that y'all are so predatory and scary that if y'all see no man around, y'all ready to go in for the kill.
Yep, they're savages. They are literally the problem. Like, I don't know.
Especially in those.
Okay, so if we're savages, why is it that all these dudes that are in jail, killers and stuff, doing life? Why is that?
Go to the low value.
Why isn't it when they go to jail, women mail them love letters and stuff? You know how many love letters Ted Bundy got? I'm telling y'all, why y'all picking these savage ass dudes? Y'all the ones picking them. Y'all the ones who want to reproduce with them.
Yeah, there's no research that shows that.
It's one of the really good statements, because we got to segment those to the low value women. Low value women, yes, they will really pay money on his commissary, but women that has either options or have a certain type of class in them, they're not going to be bothered with that. The class issue more than anything, because when somebody looks the same as you and they have different ideologies, it's a class issue. Can't help but be a class issue. Hopefully Maya ain't gonna be going to no prison paying somebody's commissary, but Shaniqua.
Not a pick me. That's pick me behavior. Though, I mean, honestly, I think women who do that have been thoroughly brainwashed and indoctrinated into a patriarchal society, right? Like, just like there are black people, just like there are coons, right? There are black people who support white supremacy. There are women who support patriarchy. Like, if you have internalized sexism, just like a lot of black people suffer from internalized racism, there are plenty of women that will support patriarchy, just like there are plenty of black people who are called coons who support racism. Like,
okay, let me ask you this, Universe. If a woman supports patriarchy, does she have that right Is that the right to support that?
Does a black person have a right to support white supremacy and racism?
Yeah, if that's what they
Okay, so then you have your answer. Why are you asking me this dumb question?
Well, if a woman has a right to support patriarchy, okay, why are you stressing over that? That's her right. That's her choice. If she wants
I'm not stressing over it.
A patriarchal man or a brutal patriarchal man, that's her choice.
You asked the question, why do some women support someone like Ted Bundy? And it's because they support patriarchy.
Guys go to jail, even these drug dealers and stuff. When they go to jail, they be having women mailing them, oh, you're so sexy. Oh, it's so wrong. They lock you up like that. Oh, I want to have your baby. This shit is real. This is a phenomenon. When serial killers go to jail, a bunch of women will mail them love letters.
And I just answered your question. I said, just like there are black people who support white supremacy and racism, there are women who support patriarchy. And
why do you think they support that?
Then you said, oh, well, it's their right. Isn't it their right to send these letters? Okay, well, you just got your answer. They support patriarchy. That's why they do it. And then you turn around and say, well, isn't that their right? So you're complaining that they do it, but then you're saying it's their right.
Yeah, they have a right to support patriarchy.
Okay, so why are you blaming women for supporting people like Ted Bundy? Because that's what they're doing at the end of the day.
No, I'm asking you. You talk about these aggressive men that rape women and soft women. Well, guess what? There are women who go for those men.
Right, and you just argue that it's their right to do that. So
yeah, it's their right.
Apparently, you support women doing that.
So the women are choosing this. What I'm saying, these women are choosing.
And you're supporting them, and you support women like that because you just argue that that's their right to do that.
Yeah, women choose that. So it's not men, it's the men are just trying to do what the women are attracted to.
Apple Girl, would you like to say something?
I feel like I've been on so many panels and I just start yelling after a while and I'm just trying to chill.
It's because they dumb. Like, it's just like
trying to chill because I really don't want to do it. Like,
yeah.
I've seen this. I've seen this type of thing before. Like,
it's like they're all the same. Like, they all do this. They all come on these panels and they're like, "It's a woman's fault. It's a woman's fault," completely ignoring whole institutionalized systems of sexism. Like, it's a woman's fault, and there's like countless research that shows that it's the norm for men to attack and rape women. But it's the woman's fault. They choose these men. They choose these rapists, and it's like, why are you here? Like, you don't have, like men that come on these panels like this, they obviously do not have access to women. So they come on these panels to attempt to argue with women because they don't have access to women any other way. So, I mean, hey, it just shows you like the whole Jessica X thing as well. Like, as much as these men complain about women, the much as they're like, oh, you know, these women we don't want to support these women. And here they go, giving all of the power to a woman in the nanosphere, right? That's how much they need female validation, that they will sit here and give all their resources. So they trigger on a woman either way. Like, it's like they give all their resources to a woman in the manosphere, a space that's supposed to be for and about male voices. And they still crave female validation over there. So it's kind of like, look, they talk all this stuff about like, oh, it's the women, and the first thing they do in a supposedly male-dominated space, they run to Jessica X's channel and they give her all her money because they need that female validation, even in a space that is supposed to be for male voices. That is how obsessed men are with women. That even in the manosphere, even in a place that's supposed to be all about men, they run to the female and give that female all the money. That's how much they depend psychologically. That's how much they psychologically depend on female validation. But they want to say, they want to make these arguments like, oh, women are going to die alone. They don't have the power. But everything they do is to get access to women. So
it's fear-mongering. I mean, just the simple fact that, men have a very strong need to breed and, women don't. It's not as strong as men. It gives us leverage over them. And, it makes them uncomfortable. It makes them feel powerless. They want to feel powerful, So they use all these tactics to kind of get us to behave in ways that benefit them and ultimately does not benefit us.
Absolutely.
So,
and now that you say that, I want to show you this part of the article, right? Because you just mentioned Apple Girl. You just said like they have this like powerful kind of impulse to breed, right? So like here in the yellow outline, in the yellow highlight, it says here, male eagerness to mate combined with female reluctance to reproduce with any male who comes along creates an obvious sexual conflict of interest that is virtually universal everywhere. Sometimes males improve their chances of mating by offering benefits to females, such as food, protection, or assistance in rearing the young. But sometimes males attempt to overcome female resistance by employing force or the threat of force, which is violence, right? So they do everything in their power to get sexual access to women, right? Like they act like savages and animals to get sexual access to women. They will rape, they will kill, they will assault you to get sexual access to women.
And we wouldn't be doing it.
On a lesser scale, you know, I be lurking on YouTube. I see what they kind of tell them to, you know, do slimy and grimy things to sort of coerce a woman, you know, to be with them. And it's seen as okay. You'll never catch a man in the comment section like, yo, that's OD for real word. No, they're not doing that.
It's completely normalized, you know, like it's also, and like the whole thing about,
God,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but let you talk about, oh, I want a man who's a provider. All hell breaks loose. Let you talk about, I got this little manipulation tactic. I know, let me tell you this. All hell.
Girl, I was just about to say that. Like, and there's no real comparison, right? Like, they like to say, oh, these gold diggers, oh, they're just going to exploit men. But actually, it is completely normalized for men to exploit women sexually, right? So, I mean, like, we even have these little cliches and these little sayings that are seen as jokes that reference men sexually exploiting women at their most vulnerable state. And you know what those do? You Apple Girl, take a guess at what some of these sayings are. I mean, so we got hit it and quit it.
Oh, smash and dash, yeah.
Right, we got hit it and quit it, smash and dash. We got wham bam, thank you, ma'am. We got pump and dump. We have all of these sayings that men are using to joke about and brag about how they sexually take advantage of women. And these have been around for forever. But as soon as a woman is like, no, I want something in return. I need some resources for me to consider you. Oh, she's a gold digger. But the men have been sex diggers, right? They have been bragging about how they exploit and take advantage of women sexually forever. But somehow it's a problem for women to be like, no, in order for
it's compounded by the fact that, you know, people will, you know, they will tell men one set of rules and they will tell women another set of rules, and it does not benefit us. Because I realize when I mention this, people say, well, men and women aren't the same. Yeah, I know, but you can't literally tell men to take advantage of women because that's what you're doing, and then you're telling women to sort of play nice. You're setting them up.
But Apple Girl, you said it. You said it. That is the point. The point of patriarchy, the point of these, you know, ideas and the media that tell women to act a certain way is for the male benefit. What women really have to do is understand that this was not built for our benefit. And we need to act in accordance and accordingly to what benefits us, point blank, period. Like, we can't follow rules that don't benefit us. The whole rule that, oh, we need to keep a man. Like, men are not valuable. They're not. Not the same way women are. Like, men present more of a threat than they do value to most women. I mean, it's there's research, like, there's so much proof. I mean, right here, like, I just want, like, this one sentence to, like, please, y'all, like, think about this right here in the pink highlight. It says right here, cross-cultural surveys indicate that societies in which men rarely attack or rape women are the exception, not the norm. So it is the norm across the world for men to attack and rape women. It's a norm.
Okay, and why are those types?
So let me read.
Why are they the exception?
Because men are savages and they want sexual access to women.
Okay, no, but
anything to do.
Okay, there are societies where it's not the norm for men to assault women. Why is it like that in those societies?
Well, why don't you go and find the answer to that? This conversation.
This is human nature. I think it's pointing out a certain type of men.
Wait, what did you say, Apple Girl?
If you look on the paper, it says human nature. I think it's pointing out. That's the whole point.
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's called male aggression. It's evolutionary biology, so it just,
Okay, now, Apple Girl, let me ask you. It says that, okay, it's in human nature for men to attack women and go after soft women. Okay, fine. Okay, why is it in our society it's not the norm for women to go through that though?
It is the norm. You have countless women being killed every day for telling a man she's not interested.
Well, I would say the reason why it's kind of slowed down is because we have laws and people know they will be held accountable for raping women in places where women don't have those type of they get violent.
How?
What?
Held accountable how?
They know they're gonna go to jail. They straight up they might get fucked up by somebody's brother.
Who's gonna take them to jail?
What?
Who's gonna take them to jail?
The cops, right?
What gender are most cops?
I think they're men. I'm trying to understand your point.
Out of my city, LAPD got the most women due to the fact of a lot of.
But what is your point? So Apple Girl, he's trying to say that we depend on men to protect us, but the thing is, like, you can't give someone credit for solving a problem that they created. Like, we can't give men any credit if they are the problem. Like, you don't get credit. You don't get a pat on the back if you are the fucking problem. Like, men are supposed to check other men. Like, it's not. You don't get a cookie for that.
Okay, so the male police.
I mean, it's the same argument that a lot of white people have when they're like, "Oh, you black people complain about racism, but it's us white people. It's us white people who brought you here to America."
All right, now, as far as Patriarch Turner, he's saying that this isn't a debate. Nobody is challenging these views. Well, that's what I was there for. I was there to challenge what they were saying, and throughout the whole thing, they never actually had a valid response to the things that I was saying. Okay, they just made, they would keep changing the subject and moving on and changing the goalpost. Okay, and they never actually had a rebuttal.
Still be living in huts. It's the same. It's the same.
No, and that's when I challenged them. I said, "Y'all ain't bring us over here. We got sold into the shit."
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. There are men who want to say that they're the solution, but you're not the solution if you're creating the problem. Like, if men are the problem, you don't get a pat on the back for checking other men. Like,
because that's a different thing. That's a different thing.
Because the problems wouldn't exist if men weren't here to begin with. But that's what I'm saying.
But with civilization, it's not an honest question. Because I ain't City of Truth. I ain't trying to antagonize y'all to get a riff. Now, would women be able to manage this stuff if they have the keys and all that? Because that's a lot of.
Well, there are all.
Would women be able to tag team up where you say if you was the president and Apple Girl the vice president and Goddess Energy was like your secretary of defense, would y'all be able to conjure up a plan?
But here's the thing: we wouldn't have half the problems.
Say if this society didn't have no men, but other societies still kept their reign.
We wouldn't have half of the problems we have if it was all female. Like, if you look at some of these, like, let me bring this article up about these all female societies. in villages. Like they don't even have half of the problems they have in these hetero societies.
I think if that had been like
Okay. And okay, I'm gonna stop it right there for right now. And I'm gonna end the broadcast. Okay. Because that's like the main part of it. That's like the meat of it. I think I did appear a little bit later in the broadcast, but then it was winding down. So go ahead. Let me know what y'all think. Get the likes up. I want to hear your feedback. Thank you.